actual spending. Column number 4 is how much money you saved. And column number 5 is your net paycheck, how much money you have to make, right? So if you're going to receive 5,000 net, that's what you put in there. Like, what did you actually receive? So then what's going to happen is you fill in the yellow section all what you spent and then compare that, right? So, and then let's say you, I don't know, let's say you spent, hopefully it's like 4750, right? Okay. And that should, these should kind of match up, you know. Oh no, it could be 3750. Because then, oh wait, no, hold on. Yeah. These numbers should match. Okay, so you make 5,000, you need to spend. So your actual earnings in column 5 should match your actual spending in column 3. Now, how much, like you may have spent 5,000, but in this scenario, of the 5,000 you had available, you put 1,250 into savings. So you put it in both columns. You spent this money, but this money that was spent putting money into your college fund or 401k. Okay. So then what happens is now we have these match and you saved 1,250 for the month. So this number right here should track how much did you save for the month. So we can see the goal is to save 15%. Oh, let's see here, Dave Ramsey, baby steps. I think is it 15 or 20%? I'm going blank on it. Shane, what is it? I know you know
15%.
Okay, that's what I thought. Rick wants me to save 20. That's always what throws me off a little bit.
20%.
Okay, so so you need to get this number to 15, right? That's your target. Okay. Then down here, you would put how much money you have in your 401k as the balance. I feel like that's where we're seeing a lot of people, you know, make changes, is like you want to be able to like have your 401k, you know, you could have your checking account. And then what I'll typically do, like, let's say you had 15,000 in your 401k and 2,000 in your IRA, 12,000 in checking and savings. Then you would say, okay, hey, my 401k and IRA balances are going to be this number plus this. So I have 17,000 basically in retirement. And then let's say you have a Robinhood account, right? That would be a brokerage account. Let's say you have 700 in there because you know, your mutual fund and stock balance, you know, would be there. So you've got that equals. Then I would call this your emergency fund balance. So you have this number that equals your checking and savings. So
Jackson, on my form, I have that on the right. That's
oh yeah, you can do that. Yeah, you can do it on the right or left. This is kind of, you just want to track like how much do you have in savings, right? And then so like that way you can see how far along you are. Because I've seen a couple other people where they'll put their kids' college fund and they'll put like 5,000 up here because that's the balance. But that's not what we want to do. What you want to do is just track this monthly. The balances you can track down towards the bottom. Does that make sense, Amy? I think that was kind of your question, Grace's question, and a few other people's questions, right?
The formula for the percentage monthly is off, but if on the form that I sent you, it added everything on the right side and provided the network up there where it says that number next to that. So it's adding it differently. I'll correct the formula for
okay,
the
yeah,
percentage.
just take a look at that because I think now Ryan and Broadra, right? Like, so it seems to me this has been a focus for people, right? Is like, how do you account for this stuff correctly? So I would recommend making, and even Tequila, I think you had some questions along the bottom, right? So we want to get better at being able to track our cash net worth and our total net worth. Okay. So Amy, maybe it might be good for me to update this form slightly with some of the labels that I've created and then send that out. But in the meantime, we've got this video being recorded, right? So you're going to track your your emergency fund on this line, okay? Then you're gonna track your retirement and your Robinhood account or stock balance here. And then you've got your equity in the home, which would be whatever it says on Zillow minus your mortgage payment. Is kind of how I do that. And so then your cash net worth should be the equivalent of your savings account plus retirement plus mutual fund, and then if you have potentially anything else. So this person in this scenario has a cash net worth of 29,800. They have some in emergency fund and some in retirement. Then their total net worth, let's say they owned a home for 300,000 and they had a $275,000 mortgage. That means they got 25,000 in the equity in their house. You take your cash net worth plus your equity in your home. So your total net worth is 54,000. Does that make sense? You want me to do that again? Does anybody have any specific questions on that they'd like me to clarify?
I know I'm gonna have to look at it again. I'll have to watch the video again.
Okay.
I got it. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I
So
mean, yeah, cash is cash, and then net is cash plus the equity.
So, okay, cool. So let's, okay, so Shane, what I saw here is I don't have your goals from last month, but great job. As I see here, I think you are getting more comfortable with the form. Okay, and I'm not sharing my screen anymore, and so just FYI. There is that amazing job. So 37% saved, is that right?
Yeah, I was trying to double check that, and I believe that is it's because of my 401k. I've been trying to really bump that up as quick as I can.
Yeah,
while the
dude, so
while
it
the
looks to me you
market's
got
low.
that at 15%, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, it sucks the life out of me every paycheck, but I think it's worth it in the long run. Why
Dude,
why
yeah,
the market's
awesome.
so low.
It's great to see the progress you're making, man. So,
Exactly.
as you look at this, what's one thing you want to stay focused on this next month, or what one question you have?
Yeah, good question. I've just got a lot of expenses. So you see my money market balance. I have a lot of expenses coming up with just pouring money into the house, like windows. I've finally ordered my windows and stuff. And I just still, I don't get it when I put the money into like another savings account, like when I should draw that back out, if that makes sense, and how to document that. It just seems really tedious. Like, why not just have it all in one money market account? Does that make sense? What I'm trying to
I mean,
ask?
you could, so if I'm hearing you correctly, you have two separate savings accounts, one for Windows and one for the emergency fund?
Yeah, exactly. And so it's like I'm just constantly moving money around, and it's just like it's just
I mean, if I'm understanding your question correctly, you have two separate accounts, one for saving for Windows and one for emergency fund.
yeah,
I don't have it that way. I have one emergency fund.
yeah. Okay, so you just keep.
So
it
if
all
I
in
have to
one.
write a check for something, or make a payment for something, I just do it, and then I'm trying to make sure I'm keeping my emergency fund between 3 to 6 months.
So how do you
So
document that?
I have
from
basically an operating account, a savings account, and a tithe account, and that's pretty much the only three I use. I have like an
Yeah.
account I use for day to day. It's a checking account. Then I have a savings account that I keep my emergency fund in, and then I have a tithe account, and that's it. So, and I really only use day to day the two checking and savings. So that,
Yes.
does that answer your question?
That does, but how would you document that on this form? So when you spend, so say in that account I had money set aside for Windows, and then I pay for Windows, how would you offset that? So it doesn't look like you haven't saved that month.
So, I mean, the thing is, how much you've saved that month would be a function of like how much got paid to the
Those
into your
accounts.
into your 401k or into your stock account. So I list that number. But yeah, I think I said like I guess what I've done is kind of a little bit of money, like you said, that money market left over. I
Yeah.
do it that way too. I do as an overage where I pulled money out of savings. I have the two balance, but I'm like basically pulling money from savings for that expense. But
Okay, yeah.
so
yeah,
like
that
yeah,
makes
like because you're
sense.
right, like the two numbers wouldn't match. Like you have your income, and then you have your income in far right column number 5, and then your spending in column 3.
Yeah.
What I've done is I've written it's a spend, like basically a spending overage that I pulled money out of savings, and that's how I balance. I put a negative number there. So like
So
if I was spending money on
basically,
Windows.
how I got it set up.
Because
then,
you
I've
paid
got-
for it out of your savings, you didn't pay for it out of your monthly income. That's what you're
Correct.
saying, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I put a negative sign in those situations. Yep, that's what I do.
Okay, well, I mean, that's just, what I mean about data entry and just getting comfortable. So I really
Yeah.
appreciate it.
I see what you're saying there. Yeah.
And then it's really helpful to have this. Did you see the green box I added to the left with those accounts, like you said?
Yeah,
like just
that's
keeping-
that's exactly what I've done as well, is I kind of put that stuff at the bottom, like to keep track of the accounts, because
Yeah.
then you're tracking the account balance. And then even like as you get more and more sophisticated, I track each month up and down. Like, how did it go? Like, did I have an up month or down month? You know, especially as the market, it's fun to then see the months that it's good, not so much fun the months that
And
are down.
it's motivating because you're like, I want these accounts to get up. So
Yep. Okay, awesome. So then, Amy, as I see here, good job on filling out the form. You were still able to save, got to almost 11% savings. Okay. What we'll do is watch the recording, see if that helps out in the bottom section. But for what it's worth, when I look at your bottom section, it looks pretty good. Like, it looks to me like you are filling this out correct. Like, you're tracking how much you saved year to date. You're tracking how much you've given year to date. You're tracking your cash and net worth. So do you have a specific question or a specific thing you want to focus on in that section right now? Or, you know, we could always connect offline. Or is there something else that you want to focus on? Because I know you've been kind of focusing more on spending and trying to get that down. It looks to me this month you stayed within your budget and you were still able to save 11%. So we do want to push that to like 15, but you're making good progress. You're not all the way to a 3-month emergency fund, it looks like. So that would be maybe the next continued focus, which it looks like that's where you're focused right now. Like, that's where your savings went this past month. So as I look at this, it looks like you're making good progress. We maybe just need to kind of keep hacking away at it, is kind of when I look at this. What were your conclusions when you were looking at it?
Yeah, so this past month, we cut down our homeowners insurance a little bit, so that we reduced that a little bit. We cut out two times of eating out. So I did that, and then I finally got the process started with the 401k transfer.
Wow. Okay. Awesome.
From Charles Schwab to Principal. So right now I'm just waiting on. I've already talked to Principal and Charles Schwab, and so now I'm just waiting to get the check so that I can deposit it through the mobile app, and it'll already be in my it'll roll over to my Principal account.
Okay, cool. So, I mean, I think that had been sitting on your to-do list for a little while. What do you think really helped motivate you to get progress on that this month?
You said, Amy, you need to do it by next month.
Wow. Okay, look at that, right?
Okay. So
All of a sudden, the directiveness. Okay, so then what I would say is, Amy, do you think you can get it done by next month completely?
Yes, I should
you
have it
think
by next week. Yeah.
All right, good. Okay, great job. I like the honesty. And so Tequila, let's take a look at yours. So at the bottom, I know that was something you mentioned, was the bottom of the form as well. It looks to me the equity in your home, I would say track that with Zillow minus your mortgage payment. I know that's a focus for you with when you switch to the 15-year mortgage. So you should be able to see that equity growing each month. That would be a way to update that bottom of the form, is take whatever Zillow is appraising it for and minusing your current mortgage. That when you make your mortgage payment, you see that you're making progress in building equity. Your total net worth does look off to me. So what I would say is go look at that and take the cash net worth, which to me looks correct. Let's see if I'm calculating that right. 120, actually, it's slightly off on the cash net worth. So the cash, unless I'm missing something here, you should take your money market balance plus your retirement balances, and that should equal your cash net worth. It looks to me there's a difference of about 20,000. So then the question is, do you have other accounts? Like, is there a Robinhood account or something else that we need to maybe update on this form, so that way you can kind of track it? Is kind of what I'm seeing. Is there other parts at the bottom of the form that I can maybe help with today, or other questions you have? I really like how you have built it out October, November, December. I feel like you've got a lot of really good consistency here. You saved 33% for the month, so you're crushing it there. So I think you're doing a lot of things really, really well. the bottom of the form, that would just be kind of my feedback to maybe help you track that progress more, because you're doing a really good job saving. I still would say it looks to me like, let's see here. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm seeing. What are your thoughts and questions, Tequila?
Nothing. I just need to take my money market and my equity and add it together to get my cash network, correct?
That's correct. Yeah. So what you would do is,
Okay.
and
Gotcha.
again, this is the sample form that I'll share my screen with, right?
Mhm.
So what I want you to do is the cash net worth, like take all your accounts and maybe put them towards the bottom, kind of like that,
Mhm.
and then say, okay, you enter them all, and then you'd have your retirement accounts over here, and then you have your emergency fund here. And so then you would take your cash net worth, which is would be your emergency fund plus any other accounts you have that are not your house. And that gets your cash net worth. So this, you did it pretty much right, but there's something missing. Check the formula. Then
Okay.
you have your total net worth. That should be just your equity in home plus your cash net worth. So that one is the one that looked like the formula wasn't feeding correctly.
Yeah, it's not. That's what I was
And
saying.
and even your it looks to me like you have more than 6 months emergency fund. Are you wanting to carry more than a 6-month emergency fund for a particular reason, or is that formula just not?
It must not be correct because
So
it's
what I
only
would
supposed to be
say
6 months.
is you need to you've got more than 6 months. I would be making sure you're continuing to max out your 401k, like get yourself to like maybe play some catch up. You have some money you can move into your 401k, it looks like to me. When you
Mhm.
look at go back and by next time look at that the emergency fund, and anything over that 6 months, get that invested. I know that's something we've kind of talked about a few different times, but I just wanted to kind of remind you on that. So but great job here. Any particular things that you have questions about right now?
No, sir.
Okay, awesome. You're doing a great job. Okay,
Thank you.
so Broadra, when I look at this, 26% save, so awesome job there. It looks to me like you're filling out the bottom of the form pretty good, right? Like you've got, yeah, I
Yeah,
like,
after you explained that a minute ago, I think I actually did it right. I manually
yeah,
calculated it, but I think I did it right.
yeah, I think you did a good job, and you've got a good amount in savings. You've got your emergency fund in place. It looks to me like you could probably take some additional money out of savings and invest that in your 401k to play catch up if you haven't already got it caught up for the year, or maybe invest a little more in stocks. I mean, do you want to keep more than a 6-month emergency fund? That's kind of what I'm seeing here.
I might, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna leave it like that and just not put any more in, which I haven't been putting any more in. I actually set up my 401k now, so I
You did,
won't
you got it
be,
set up? Awesome.
yeah,
Okay.
I got it set up. So I
What
put it
percentage did you put it at?
at 20.
Nice. Okay, great job. Okay. So yeah,
Yeah.
I would say think about that. Like if you want to leave it as it is to maybe have a little more in savings, that's fine to a degree. I think 6 months is a pretty good number,
Yeah.
but it also likes like your budget, what's calculating that's a little bit low because you probably, it looks to me like you kind of have set your budget a little bit lower, kind of because it is more emergency. So, you might, that emergency funds formula is calculated based on what you're kind of budgeting. So,
Yeah.
if you want to leave a little bit more money in, that's okay, but that would be something I'd look at. And then, but great job saving. It looks to me like you did spend a little bit more money than you budgeted, but you still came in well below like kind of what you actually are earning. So you were able to save good money. Do you have any questions on the form or anything that you want advice on for the next month, or anything that you want to get, maybe some more accountability and support on for the next month?
I think I'm good right now. The main thing was it was setting up the 401k. Now I just need to get it rolled over like Amy needs to do. I need to get it
Okay,
rolled
so
over from Charles
okay, so
Schwab.
that's your focus this next month, is let's get that rolled over, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. All right. And then
I just need to stop spending so much money.
well, I mean, everybody can always tighten up, right? So like one of the things, but I would say you're doing a good job, right? Like you save 26%. Right.
Yeah.
Now, like, let's say you get your spending down a little bit more, maybe you could save 30%, right? But you still hit your, like, the thing in my mind is I want y'all to enjoy life, and like sometimes a budget makes you feel guilty. That's not the intent of it. It's to make almost feel empowered. So if you are saving 20% or even 15%, go spend money. Like you work hard, have fun, enjoy your life. Right?
Yeah.
Like if you're in a ton of debt and you are saving no money, that's when I would say absolutely you got to cut. Like you got to get your life like life more in order, right? But it's really up to you to decide how hard you want to push. Like you may want to look at the retirement and say, okay, hey, I want to be able to be at this level of retirement by this age. So therefore I am going to push harder. I'm going to spend less money. But if you're like, hey, I'm just going to save 20% for the next 20 years. If I do that, if you're saving 20%, pretty much anybody on this call for 20 years, you should be at least have $1 million in retirement in 20 years, assuming 7% rate of return, which you should all be able to hit if we're just actively dollar cost averaging, investing every month. So that would be kind of my feedback, because I know sometimes the budget can almost make you feel bad. And so that's, that would be my advice is, if you're hitting the numbers, then you shouldn't feel that way. Let's see here. Okay. So Ryan, when I look at this also, dude, okay. So dude, you kicked it into gear. This is the first month you got over 20% saved in a while. What changed? Great job.
I don't know. I don't know if that's right, to be honest.
Okay, so you think maybe?
I mean, I know I'm saving a minimum of 15% every month because that's what goes into my 401k.
Oh, you know what? I think it is you filled the form out the right way. That's what it was. Because I kept thinking you weren't saving, but then what would happen is you were saying like you were. Okay, so you have 15% automatically going in.
Yeah, but so I had a question. So where we put our paychecks, are we putting in the gross amount or the net amount?
You need to put in the net amount.
Okay, that's what I did. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So exactly, because that's what you can spend, right? So you have like, you'd put in whatever your net income is, right? Or your net paycheck there. And then that way you have that much money to spend for the month.
Okay.
So that should be kind of your guiding ideas. You want to make sure you come in below what you're earning monthly and have some money built in so you can still save and not spend all your money. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So
I want to
we're
work
going
on
over the
getting
bottom
my,
of the form, the equity in your home, that looks good. Like in terms of Zillow mutual fund, it looks to me like you're filling this thing in correctly. So we got saved year to date, though. That does not look right to me. If you've been saving,
yeah, I noticed that. I didn't realize.
you need to get that.
Where does
Because
that
I want
number
you to
come
look
from?
at
'Cause I
that
didn't
and then
put
be
that in there.
motivated, like to see, like it's July. By the time you fill it, you got 8 months of savings. I think it's like even when we're like doing the wheel of life, right? And we're setting goals, like which we've done, is like I think it's really helpful and motivating for you to be like, hey, like I saved X amount this year, right? And then when we set a goal on your wheel of life and for 2023 is, can you save a little more money, right? Like if you're
So,
making more money.
let me ask you this. Where does that number come from? Because I never input that number there. It just
Oh, great.
auto-populated.
Great question. Okay, so here's what I would say, and I think Tequila, you're doing a pretty good job of doing this, and just the way you built out your formulas, right? Is let's say you saved, 1,250 for the month, right? That would then go here if in the month of January, okay? But then what would happen is we'd go to the next month, and let's say you saved 1,500. Well, now this should be this month plus your January total. So that way you can see a rolling total each month, like this would be, we call it February, right? And then you got March and you got April. So just go back and pull from your previous budgets to see what did you save in January, February, March. So that way you can say, okay, how much have I actually saved year to date?
Mhm.
And then you could also then reconcile that. And maybe you missed on a month, right? Like, let's say, with Marcel, he wasn't able to save as much money this month, but he's been saving pretty good the past couple months. Can he get caught back up, next month and get back to his on year to date, on average, are you saving 15 to 20%? Does that make sense, Ryan?
Yeah.
Okay. So then Brian, awesome job. Wow, everyone kind of landed right around 26%. How interesting. So you're investing in kids' college funds, getting it for, have you gotten it set up for both Collins and Sawyer?
Brian's not on the call.
Oh, did we lose Brian? Something come up? Okay. All right.
Shame.
Let's see here. Oh, you know what? We didn't get a chance. Let's do Tony. Okay, cool. I saw yours just come in. So let's go Tony. Okay. So on this, we got almost 12% saved. So good job there. Okay, so you did put 6% in your 401k and you kind of then just outline that separately. Is that kind of what you were doing?
Yeah, so I do 6 and then I guess the additional 12, so 18.
Nice. Okay, so what I would say then is on this form, if that's what you're really doing, is you want to give yourself credit for that and make sure that's being accounted for. So I know the 401k can be a little confusing on how to enter that. Okay. So what you want to do is, what I found that helps is if you're, for example, pulling the net number here, okay?
Yeah.
Like, let's say your net is 4,166, I think which is not, this is a sample, okay? I don't know why I keep.
Yeah, I put the net paychecks there.
Okay, but
That's already got the.
then what
401
happens is if you're doing the net and you did put money in your 401k, keep in mind that this net is after the 401k has been deducted, right? Does that make sense? Like that after
Yeah.
homeowners insurance and 401k. So then if you put, let's say 1,250 in your 401k for the month, you do not put that as a spend. You leave that off because that actually came out before your check. So you would just
Right.
leave that as a 0 there, even though you did put 1,250. That way, then you can track that and you can say, okay, hey, maybe I put 1,000 in here, I put 1,250 here. That way, then this number will populate at 18%. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. I guess I'm like 6% plus whatever that number is. So I like mentally, but I know what
But
you're
I want
saying,
you to be
yeah.
able to then see how much have you saved year to date, right? Because like if you're saving 18% every month and you do that for the next 20 years, you're going to do it. So like what we're doing this year is we're just building the habits, right?
Yeah.
So, and then let's see, okay, spending wise, it looks to me like you've gotten your spending down, which is good. And you're still able to save, but I know y'all were talking like, are you still in kind of a little bit budget cutting mode? Because, you know, Josie's, probably not going to be going back to teaching. Is that, or have y'all thought through that?
Yeah, I mean, right now it's just kind of a weird time because, you know, we got another kiddo. So you're just trying to figure out, you know, what's going to become a regular expense. And
Yeah,
you know,
figuring out how much
we've
how
cut
much you
back in
spend on
certain areas because we're not
diapers
doing
and
a whole lot of
nursery
things right
stuff.
now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's like we're not going out as much because of a newborn, but we're spending money in different places because of a newborn. So it's just kind of figuring all that out.
Yeah.
And we're putting some plans in place as far as her not working next year. Kind of looking at some different options.
Is this budget though, is this just your income or is this her income, both of y'all?
No, this is her too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah,
her
so
check
my
is included. Yeah. So it's
my
all,
advice is just keep trying to work that, right? Because I know that's a
Yeah.
priority to you, right? I know that's important. So that would just be my reminder is like, you know, the good news is you've got almost 18% cushion because you were saving that much, right? But I would love for you to still be able to have Josie, you know, be able to stay home with the kids and then you still to hit your savings goals. So, you know, just kind of continue to kind of think through how to work that. So when you're filling out the form, you know, I think that would be kind of the purpose and vision, even because I know you're naturally good at this stuff. So I think just bringing Josie into that. Are y'all doing monthly budget meetings together, or are you kind of more
not
just
so
handling?
much. I'm kind of running point on it.
You're
all.
handling
But
everything?
she listens to me though. So like, it's not
Okay,
like,
so
yeah, like I'm just saying, hey, like this is kind of what's going on, and like, you know, or hey, like we don't need to be doing this, and you know, she just kind of follows, you know, kind of whatever I say for the most part when it comes to the budgeting.
Well, I think even just having
aspect.
her maybe pick one thing she can do. Like I'm more naturally gifted at spreadsheets than Haley, but I found if I at least give her one thing to focus on, like right now, I'm having her focus on shopping our homeowners insurance and auto insurance, and also trying to call AT&T to get our personal cell phone bill shop. So my advice and homework to everyone is continue to find 5 things to kind of cut down on. Like I feel like I was definitely able to cut a bunch of subscriptions I wasn't using, and that saved me a bunch of money. And so, you know, that would my thought is, you know, if you are more in a cost cutting mode, like go through each of those and maybe assign 1 or 2 things. Like, I created a game with Ella and Gia where like you score points if you turn off a light before we leave the house. So like, you know, for every light bulb they turn off before we walk out the back door, they get 1 point. And it's funny how they compete for that. Like, so, which has helped keep our electricity bill down, you know, a little bit. So, okay.
I would say look at money market accounts on like online savings accounts. Like a lot of the rates have gone up, which is good.
That's a great idea. We should have a contest to see who can get the highest rate of return.
Like a month or 2 ago, my account was like 0.5 and now it's 1.2. So it's kind of like over the past month or 2, and I do Goldman Sachs.
That's great.
So just kind of, there might be one better, but like if you're not using a money market, I mean, it's your money market. So
Yeah, it's a high yield checking account or a
Yeah.
high yield money market account is what I've seen. So
yeah, I
that's a
guess the
good
high
point.
yield savings essentially.
Yeah,
is what
for
I'm
your
at.
for your emergency fund, that's a good place to
Right.
go. What
So
I'm
like just
seeing
gains money. Yeah.
is neighborhood credit unions at 1.5,
Yeah.
which
see.
is where I do mine. It looks like Citizens at 1.75, Synchrony's at 1.65. I think you said you were at 1.2, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's not a huge difference, but like, let's say you get your emergency fund to like 20 or 30,000, right? And
And that's
that'd be
20
like
or 30 bucks a month.
$240, right? That's
Yeah.
like $240, right? That like really helps the offset of gas, like gas being higher and maybe, different things like that. That's electricity bill being higher because of like I'm sure everyone's electricity bill is higher because of AC, So if you just maybe take your checking account to Tequila, I know you should definitely look at it. Like you and Roger, like take a look and see how much you've got. Same with even you, Marcel. You've got, you kind of got your emergency fund in place. Think about the best place to park that to get the best return. Does that make sense? Okay. Any last minute kind of questions? Oh, I think we got through everybody's budget. I didn't miss anybody, did I? Okay. Any other last minute questions?
No.
Okay. All right. I'll hang back in case anybody needs anything urgent on the pipeline. I think we got most of the fires put out, but
You do. You have
What's
the
that?
Walton meeting in like 2 minutes.
2 minutes, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So like,
So
I
I'm
know
headed
that's
into
gonna
that
be-
one. I'll go check that out right now. Okay.
And just FYI, I can't get raise in the day because I know it's due, but I have to wait for the appraisal to be cleared. Just FYI, I already escalated it.
What
It
do you
came in at value.
Okay, so it did come in, right?
Uh-huh.
And then it's Jennifer Lofton,
Jennifer,
right? Is it-
I ain't worried.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I think
Just
what
wanted
we-
to give you a heads up.
Yeah. No, I appreciate it because what I want to do, and Roger, Grace, and Tequila is we want to follow that and resubmit to metric. That's a super important one. We've realized like how important that is because every time we get burned, it's almost that's the one that burns us. But what I would say is if it's a conventional loan, FHA, if it's non-down payment assistance and it's non-jumbo, we have a little more flexibility. And if it's Jennifer Lofton, right? And so I would say the standard expectation, we go ahead and resubmit and do a partial to get it cleared. But Tequila, I know you have a good working relationship with Jennifer and you don't want to, you'd rather get her a clean full file. So I would say is just keep me posted. If we're going to miss the deadline of 5 o'clock, the day, 7 days out, just make sure to let me know beforehand. And then let's do check-in. So like check back in with me tomorrow at 9 and 4. That way, if we hit any kind of delay, maybe Roger can help in with rushing the appraisal review. So far, it seems like appraisal review has been able to get to it relatively quickly. And I did see you did all the upfront work correctly, which is you followed up on the raises appraisal with collateral management several times. I saw all your emails. I even called them today and they got it in by noon. We just need to get appraisal review and then we'll clear it. So
Yeah, I already
You
escalated.
could probably actually go ahead and sub that in right before you
That's
leave
all I
for the day.
need. That doesn't.
Well, but
Yeah,
I
just
didn't have no
submit it.
conditions on my file. I had a clean file.
Yeah.
So I was
Just
just waiting for
resub
the
it.
appraisal.
Yeah,
Just
she
resub
could.
it and maybe
Roger
they'll
would-
get to it. And I'll tell Jennifer to hold off and finish Lopez tomorrow first. And maybe they'll jump in it before she gets in
Are
it.
you good with that, Tequila?
What you mean, Lopez? She should finish Lopez. Yeah, I submitted that one yesterday.
Yeah, that was kind of what Tequila was saying. Like Roger was like, because of her close relation with Jennifer, Jennifer almost like hops in the file as soon as it's resub.
Yeah, I know.
She don't have no conditions to clear, basically. That's what I'm saying.
On which one? Lopez?
No, on
On
my
Reyes.
Reyes. Lopez already in.
Right, that's what I'm saying. She has not done Lopez yet today, so maybe she can do that one first tomorrow before your Reyes. And maybe the appraisal team will hop in
So
Reyes
I
before
gotta
she gets to
hop
it.
on this call with
Okay. Go ahead, Drex.
with him. But Tony, real quick, just if I'm looking at this file, is there any pricing exception built in on these two
No.
loans at all?
No.
Okay, all right, thanks. That gives me direction. I appreciate it. Thanks, y'all.
Bye.
See ya. Hey, double check, but I don't think so. Now that I'm like, shoot, wait, was there? I don't think there was. All right, see you guys.